Everyone, this is Marjorine Balaj from Pakistan and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Itihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So it's been quite a few days, or I think weeks, that I have uploaded the video. Reason being high holidays and the new Jewish yearly cycle to read Torah and to finish Torah and reiterate our relationship and bond with HaShem is right around the corner. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is actually next month, but Rosh Hashanah is just this week, I think, starting on 25th. So a lot of preparation. I had to do a lot of menu things and how to, because there was so much happening. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. So many things are happening in terms of my life and everything. So I was deciding a lot of stuff, reading, preparing for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and of course having a very deep spiritual conversational sort of a relationship with Hashem in the past few weeks. And it's been amazing and so blessed. But meanwhile, unfortunately, and should I say, actually not unfortunately, because I've come to this realization that even the things which seem to us apparently negative and bad somehow teach us something really incredible, divine and spiritual. So that was that I can say about this thing. So there is this person who is, I think, an internet social media influencer and a big celebrity, so to speak. I come across his multiple videos, starting with I think first two videos were recommended to me by my younger sister, and she saw them and she watched them and she was like, oh my god, what is this crazy guy? And then I started watching his videos, and it was such a strange feeling. So what I did is that I listed some of his videos that I watched, and I wrote the reactions in words below those shorts or videos. So here's my recommendation: read the description or the reactions that I have written under those videos, and then watch the videos, and you will understand how I perceive things or what my reaction to that is. Apart from that, since I wanted to expand my vision and horizon and think that why I come across this person, and why do I what can I take as a positivity from this, some of the very negative and very inappropriate comments and videos that this man had said. One of the biggest affirmations and positivity that I had drawn out watching or hearing this person speak was that I had defined this term that men are largely divided into three kind of people. So there is this Adam that we, the women, the Chavah, actually look for in every man, and then there is this serpent, and it all starts from our epigenetics of the of our creation of Genesis, and in the Shamayim, in Ha Shamayim, in heavens. So we see men and categorize them into three boxes, which is one, HaShem, the people we highly respect and look up to and feel protected towards. It could be our very good and close friends who are just like friends as in like brother friends, kind of, those sort of feeling, those sort of people, or our father or our brothers. So you look up to them, you respect them, and you seek some sort of easiness in terms of, you feel that these are the people who can protect you, who can you trust, whom you can trust blindly in terms of your security, your existence, or whatever. They're out there to watch out. So that is the masculine, energy, or masculine boss of HaShem. And then there is Adam, and then there is this serpent. So this was affirmated by this guy, because this guy, I would write his name so you would probably know who I'm talking about. So this guy not only calls himself Cobra, but one of his accounts at the social media has Cobra in his last name, and then he has a tattooed serpent around his arm and body. And I was like, oh my god. I mean, this affirms that my analysis, although I have never considered myself intellectually or anything of, high caliber or intellectual capabilities. No, absolutely not. But this feels really good. So this was one positivity. Second positivity that I have drawn from watching all these videos and listening to these sort of conversations, I realized that as women, I think how far we have come to impact men, and especially men like these. I mean, we cannot deny the fact that every single human being, male, female, transgender, any gender, has come out in this world from a female womb, either from a C-section or directly from the vagina. So this actually gives a lot of responsibility as the feminine energy in this world, that how have the mothers raised children who turn up to be like this, who have that opinion. How have we positively anchored or directed humanity in the direction that it would bring, the divine light of HaShem into this world. And remember, the Torah says the material realm is the responsibility of the women. Genesis itself, Chavah means life, and Adam named Chavah and life, which symbolizes life. And then Abraham, when he was having this difficulty sending his second wife and his then firstborn son, and the only son, or not only son, Isaac was born actually. So his firstborn and his second wife, sending them away, it must have been a very painful experience for a father. Yet HaShem reiterate that the physical and this worldly decision making, Chavah, or women, are way much more sensitive and are capable enough to make worldly decision. The reason I feel HaShem and Torah says so is, again, I will go to the parashit, the very beginning of Torah, is when both Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge. The first one who was cursed by HaShem was Serpent, and Serpent was cursed in such a way that there will be an enmity between you and Chavah for the rest of until the whole thing goes on, and there is no the age of messianic age and Messiah and the healing of the world. A woman is far much more sensitive to the deceiving and evil ways of the serpent, of the Yitzhahara, of Satan, as compared to men. Men are far easily tempted by Satan and they have far less resistance towards manipulation. And one, because they ate the fruit from the tree of knowledge later. Chavah ate it before Adam. So one, we attain maturity way before the men attain maturity. That justifies. Therefore, the bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah is at an early age than bar mitzvah of the male child or male adulthood. So and then again, the dynamics of the both genders, the feminine and the masculine, because Chava was taken out of Adam, and we come at the top of the hierarchy of creation, because we were created at the end after everything else was created, and we were created out of a living being, that is Adam. And the Adam sort of feels, or the masculine energy sort of feels, that there is this incompleteness, and there is this hole, or there is something missing in Adam, because that has transformed into a feminine energy, which is the Chavah. Chavah, on the other hand, feels lost without the Adam, because that sort of gives Chavah a direction to think with confidence, because we have the guilt mentality that we didn't make the right decision or whatever. So so the sensitivity of women towards evilness, towards the ways of the serpent, is far more eminent in women. Women are far more sensitive to evilness, to making things better. And also, it's our responsibility then to sanctify life, because we bring life into this world. Therefore, we are the ones who need to sanctify the life and the living existence in the material realm. And therefore, HaShem does command that women sanctify the material intake, like the food and everything, through making sure that kosher guidelines are met in a household, in a Jewish household. The sanctification of Shabbat, and sort of sanctifying the material at the end of the week on Shabbat is the responsibility of a woman. And then Havdalah again is more of a masculine sort of thing. The man does it because then the men would bring the divinity for the entire 6 days of the week, which are very material, and deal with the worldly things. And again, reading the Torah and having that connection to bring Hashem's Shekhinah into this world is more of a masculine responsibility than sanctifying this world. It is more of a feminine responsibility. And then mashpetam, the family purity, everything. So material, the judgment and analysis and the decision making of a woman is far more superior in terms of material decisions and how to run this world. And to bring divinity into this world is the responsibility of the masculine, because they are sensitive to have more temptation towards the material world. And since women are very, they are at the top of the hierarchy of creation, so the connection between the divine and Chavah, or the feminine energy, is very direct. So they don't need Torah, they don't need those repetitive timely mitzvahs. Rather than they would have these these mitzvot which actually sanctify the material and stop the material and make it more holier than the other aspects. Therefore, I do realize that these sort of people or these sort of ideologies somehow stem from the feminine energy not completely fulfilling their mitzvot or their calling to sanctify the material. And to a certain extent, I sort of felt that this person whom I initially had very judgmental thoughts of, but I realized what sort of environment that he grew up in, what sort of experiences that he gathered from either his mother or the female friends, what sort of female interaction he has gone through to accumulate a thought process like this, that the way he sees the feminine energy. Also, I was quite stunned as a woman from a third world country like Pakistan. I mean, and I've never been. I'm not seen the world. I've not been to the Ivy schools and colleges, and I'm below average, less IQ level kind of a person. And then I'm a woman. If you ask Mr. Serpent, he would probably think that what does this hijabi woman from Pakistan know about anything? But then again, I realize here is a guy who is a millionaire, multi-millionaire, or maybe billionaire, I don't know his net worth or whatever. I don't know if he knows his net worth. But this guy can't afford a chef to cook his breakfast. He expects that his girlfriend or his wife would make sure that she has cooked breakfast for him. And then you realize that what kind of mentality is that? A millionaire or billionaire would say, we'll get a Filipino or some really gourmet chef to cook for both of us while we sit on the table like king and queen, and then the breakfast or dinner or lunch is coming on our table. Ironically, the same guy actually praises Islam and the first Arab world, as per he says, that Islam is the solution for the future, and the first Arab world is this ideal model. But ironically, in the first world Arab world, all these sheikhas and princesses, they probably have somebody to actually wash their asses. I mean, they don't cook breakfast for their husbands. In fact, when they are not in the mood of intimacy, they would tell their sheikh husbands, go sleep in that yacht and call some bimbos from Romania or Ukraine and fuck with them because I'm not in the mood. This guy doesn't even know the tantrums, these sheikhas and these princesses, if a sheikh or an Arab guy comes up with this attitude of you are this and that, those Arab women are no ordinary women from Yemen or Morocco or those third world Arab countries where women are suppressed and they are seen the target to get the frustration out because they're just gonna take it. This guy who is a millionaire trillionaire doesn't know that the reason the first Arab world seems like this moral code or moral way of living or this moral society is not because of Islam. It's actually because they're filthy rich. Money is the factor. So if you go to Romania where there is extreme poverty, they would have the same subjugating and discriminating attitudes towards women, and it's same as the Egyptian men would have subjugating and discriminating attitude towards Egyptian women. So the religion, one is an Orthodox Christian, country, Romania, and Egypt is an Orthodox Muslim country. So it's not about religion. It's about their economic and their social, probably social is its social and cultural environments. The Arab peninsula, the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, and all those, the first world, so to speak, first world Arab countries. Not only the Arab princesses and sheikhs are rich, the sheikhs are also very, very filthy rich, because Islam gives the inheritance. But if a guy is filthy poor, he would probably give all his money to his son, so that there isn't more financial output going. He would less likely to give a share to his daughter. But in the case of oil money and gold money and all this, basically Saudi Arabia is owned by a single family. So the true Arab nationals living in Saudi Arabia are all actually related to each other. It's one big family which owns the entire country. And then people who immigrate and work for them are the outside, labor from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Israel, from America, from all. So these countries, again, if you talk about Dubai or you talk about Abu Dhabi, all these Arab peoples are actually related to each other. Somebody's cousin of somebody else. So they owned these big lands. These families owned these big countries, as in like family things. This is a family territorial sovereignty. So there were no other. There are no ownership of any of other non-Arab people. Even in the UAE, you can lease an apartment or a building or a house or a villa for 100 years and then extend that lease, but there is no ownership. Nobody can own a piece of land there. Or even if you're national and you are a non-Arab, you don't have the right to own any property or anything. You can do business on like a lease thing. And then, there is this golden visa that you get. But even that golden visa is like for 100 years or maybe more. I think it is 400 years. I'm not sure. I have to check. But you don't become a citizen of UAE. You just get a visa for 100 years. So you're not part of the family. You can never be a part of the family. So a person comes up and becomes this social media influencer, but doesn't double check. It's just idiotic. And a person who is a trillionaire and millionaire, who can easily afford a gourmet chef, expects his girlfriend to cook for him, is completely ridiculous. And then he compares himself to a king and a sheikh who thinks in a completely different paradigm or perspective. Another ironic thing for me was seeing how the world listens to this person for financial advice, and that person, his own financial earnings or his own financial stability or sources of income are from pimping. He's a pimp. So he's a pimp and he owns casinos in Romania, and he has pimping business. Literally, he has pimping business, pornography sites, and that's where his wealth comes from. And people take his financial advice. It's like you're taking an advice from a gambler. How is somebody who believes in the gambling business would give you a good financial advice? At times, I just, for me, it's very difficult to comprehend. And I have studied business. Ironic thing is that I have studied business. I have I have sufficiently studied business, and I was actually very good at, the finance and accounting and taxation subjects. And for me, it is just incredible that how would a businessman would listen to someone who has a pornographic site business, or prostitution business, or he's a pimp basically, and he earns money from women vaginas or women's sexuality, or he earns his money from gambling. How ironic. I mean, I was shocked to just, and then people say that, the most evil people on this planet are the Rothschild. And then you see, and since there was so much of, stereotyping and negative things around, Rothschild family and all that, I actually went on and researched what sort of businesses they have, and where. And they have banking business, they have hospitality business, they have real estate, construction businesses. Booming, a large chunk of their investment, returns is development, real estate development. And people think that they are evil because they're developing the planet and developing. And then there was one of the businesses of some Rothschild, I think, company or family member, was in sustainability and environmental solutions. Banking is literally making sure that everyone and anyone can access the resource of money to better their lives. And that's an evil thing. Pimping business is not. And somebody who's a pimp will get a financial advice from him. Gambling is not, not a bad thing. And a person, and the irony of the matter is, this guy has started his pimping business, his prostitution business, not in the US or UK, but in Romania. Now, Romania, and also the casinos in Romania. Now, Romania is one of the Eastern Europe's most poorest and corrupt countries. And he has started these two evil businesses there. So, just imagine the height. If you have a casino business in the US, okay, people have surplus, money. They make a lot of money, so they can afford to gamble and lose some money. He is doing his casino business in Romania, where there is already inflation and poverty. They don't have this surplus money to invest in gambling, to have that risk of losing their entire money. And women population there is already under this financial, a lot of pressure is on the women population, and he has a pimping business in Romania. And he's an icon. He is an icon for masculine, people who promote masculine supremacy, or I don't know what that is. For me, it was strange that, what is this? Why are we, personally listening to all what he said was like, I felt that this guy, or the purpose of the Itzahara and the serpent, or the Satan, whatever you call it, is to reduce the feminine energy to its sexuality, and reduce the masculine energy to its sexuality. So I think that the biggest source of evilness and the spread of evilness, or I think the source of all evil and all bad things, is when a human being who is created in the image of the divine is reduced to its sexuality. Either you are male or a female. If you reduce to your sexuality, I think there is nothing human left in you. You see a dog. A dog also has a penis and testicle. He wakes up in the morning, he eats, he makes sure that he's alive so that he could perpetuate his genes further. And his goal of life and existence is to fuck every day, any bitch, random bitch, doesn't matter, it has to be this or that, any bitch. He just has to get enough food to be able to stay healthy, not die, and make sure that he is fucking with enough bitch to spread his seed. A man also has a penis and testicle. Does his definition, how would you define a man? Merely having sperms, penis and testicle is an insult of Adam, is an insult of a woman that she is reduced to her vagina and her ability to reproduce or recreate, or and that's why our matriarchs and patriarchs had some serious issues with fertility and sexuality and all that. I feel that Torah tells us that we are not just sexual beings. We're not just sexual beings. We're not just here to spread our seed. That's why the Jewish people are less than 1% or 1% of the entire population. It's because the fact that the masculine and the feminine energy has to harmonize and have to be sanctified through the connection that masculinity and femininity has with HaShem. So we are not merely sexual beings. We don't revolve around our sexuality. That's, of course, that is an incredible experience too, if we sanctify it in a way to connect with HaShem. And that's what the Jewish marriage does. So yeah, I realize that it's there is so much that we as women have to think about and have to do, and this whole competition of masculinity being in control of the world or femininity being in control of the world has to stop. It's not about feminism being superior or masculinism is being superior or men are superior or women are. It's actually syncing your abilities, syncing your energy with the divine, and with the masculine and the feminine has to first sync with each other, not in the specific role per se, because if we see at Mount Sinai, all those Jewish men and women were all the bride of HaShem, and HaShem was that masculine energy in that dynamics of marriage between HaShem and the Israel, where Israel is Israel as an holistic nation with all the men and women included is the feminine energy, and HaShem is the masculine energy in that equation. So we need to understand that these energies are for us to, these energies are with us to sync in that way that it creates this amount of divinity. And only we can do this out of all the biological and living beings. A dog or cat or lion or deer or bear is only worried about staying alive, keeping warm, and having enough food and energy to fuck and propagate their genetic, chain. They don't influence the world. They don't build bridges. They don't build skyscrapers or electric cars or want to colonize Mars. They are not creating artificial intelligence, or they're not fucking up with the genetic engineering with the people's DNA and people's, We do that. We have this, and our mission, our biggest mission in this world is to sanctify knowledge. We ate from the tree of knowledge, because the tree of knowledge not only has goodness, but it also has badness or evilness. So our job as humans, as masculine, as feminine, is to sanctify knowledge, sanctify this divine ability to choose between good and evil, to sanctify this awareness of righteousness and evilness. And I actually felt quite pity for this guy, that he is not only reduced himself to his sexuality, but he's also reducing others to merely their sexuality. Women have to be just walking, talking vaginas, and men have to be this walking, talking penis. And it's sad and it's funny, and and you would read my comment, and I think you would find it more funny and sarcastically dark humor. But do get the time to watch these videos and listen, and then forget about this person, forget about this video and everything. Have more concentration on building a relationship, renewing your relationship with HaShem. These holy days are so amazing, to connect with HaShem as our Father, as our King, as our marital spouse, for the Jewish people in particular. So yeah, I'm having a lot of amazing feelings and amazing connect with HaShem, and I hope everyone is having the same. So wishing everyone the same spirituality and same eagerness to connect with HaShem. Thank you very much.